about her parents? Do you know about her parents? Your mom's parents?
No, I just know about her brothers and sisters. One of her older brother, Shlomo, was not anxious to come over to this country because in I don't know, 1937 or something like that. 1937, he won second prize in the Irish sweepstakes, the Irish lottery. The Irish lottery. I mean, now you've got every state, almost every state has a state lottery. But lotteries, before World War II, and for a number of years afterwards, were unknown anywhere. I don't know. So, but there was one lottery that was universally subscribed to and purchased, and that was the Irish sweepstakes. The Irish lottery. So anyway, so he won second prize in that, and was able to build a factory, and so he owned a factory in Warsaw. So he owned a factory in Warsaw, and so he had ties there, and it was hard to break off. When in 1939, when World War II started, my mother's youngest brother escaped to Russia. And and all of the Jewish people who escaped to Russia at that time formed a Jewish brigade, a Jewish battalion, and Russia put them in the front lines. And the most heart-rending story was that they fought after Leningrad, and the Russia turned the tide against Germany and started to push the Germans back. The last letter my mother got was from her youngest brother. He was on the outskirts of Warsaw. He was in the front lines there, and he wrote her. He said, "I'll soon be over and be able to see where our house was." And he didn't expect it to be still standing. But he says, "I'll soon be back in our home," and he got killed. He died in the Battle of Warsaw as the Russian, not the famous uprising of the Jews in the city of Warsaw, but in the Battle of the Russians coming back into Warsaw. But if the house was still standing and he went in and tried to claim it, there were many Jews that tried something like that. Came right after World War II, tried to reclaim their home. Of course, their Polish citizens were living in it, and they got killed. They got killed by the by the current inhabitants. Didn't want to give up their homes.
During the time during the war, you were old enough to know, was your mother able to receive letters from her family, like when they were in the Warsaw Ghetto, or?
I doubt it.
She didn't remember that. So once the war started, she really never heard from them.
Yeah.
And did she always have some hope that they would have survived, or did?
Got one letter. She got this letter, but it was coming from Russia, from my youngest brother was in the Russian army and came over. Okay, so when so my mother, was always anxious all her life to find any trace of her parents, of her family, or so on, from Warsaw. So when I had a sabbatical, and we spent it in Jerusalem, my mother was 75 at that time, and found it difficult to walk and so on. So she came. She made it. She went out of her way, got a ticket, and came to visit us. And the first thing she did was she went to see it in Jerusalem. The Israeli government has archives. They try to resurrect the memory of every Jewish inhabitant in the state in Eastern Europe. And so they got they tried to fill in their records so that but she could find there was no record. There was no record in Jerusalem. But the other thing I spoke about at a funeral, if you remember, was that I was able to take it down to the ruins, and at that time, at the corner of the western and southern walls of the Temple Mount, you could walk down and walk among them. Now it's restricted. You can just look at it there. So here was this woman, 75, who found it difficult to walk around here. She was climbing up and down this. The point is, when you're in Jerusalem, your spirit is so uplifted, there's a feeling. You can't explain it. You just feel so great, you know.